a whole bunch of misconduct on this case. But one, my case was predicated on Detective Robert Allen, which he intentionally lied to the grand jury to obtain the indictment for first-degree murder. The intentionally purged the grand jury to obtain the indictment for first-degree murder. As he had the autopsy report and intentionally lied to the grand jury and stated that I shot Mr. Davis 4 times. And the autopsy report proved that he was shot by another person at 1016 Western School as well. He stated that his investigation would not prove such offense, so he essentially left out what the eyewitness Vicky Gomar stated on his body cam. She stated, "Me and my son are like water and oil, and I see him, I still don't contact because I do not fuck him, because he do some grimy ass shit too. My son was getting very, very angry. He literally cannot control his temper, so really, literally, he made that man shoot him. He really did." As the detective intentionally left out this information purposely to obtain an indictment of first-degree murder, when his investigation would prove such a thing. And this is bad, as the chief of police was on the crime scene as well. But what's even worse is that Detective Allen was allowed to intentionally lie and fail to do an investigation of the chief of police watch without being reprimanded. This is sad. How can I trust the police when they're allowed not to do their job? The witnesses stated that Mr. Davis threatened to harm me. And I walked up on him, shot him in the stomach, he fell to the ground, picked his hands up, then I walked closer and shot him 3 more times. But the autopsy report proves his theory to be a lie, as it proves that he was shot by one of the residents at 1016 West McCool in the back of his neck. Also, the detective stated that Mr. Davis was not pursuing Mr. Blakes, as he was found a step off the porch. But the physical evidence proves that Mr. Davis was in the middle of the yard pursuing Mr. Blakes as the homicide occurred. As his feet proves where he was at when the homicide occurred, and his feet was in the middle of the yard. So it's clear that the Detective Robert Allen intentionally lied to the grand jury to secure a first-degree murder indictment. And this is police misconduct as well. As my whole trial was based on these lies. So this proves that police can intentionally lie under the chief of police watch. Also, they do not have to do their job under his watch, as the department can only be as bad as his leader. As if Detective Robert Allen would have done the investigation, he would have known that the witnesses were lying. The eyewitnesses stated that I walked up to Mr. Davis, shot him, and told him he fell to the ground, put his hands up, and I walked closer, and those 3 more rounds went to while he was on the ground. But the autopsy report proved this was lie. As the autopsy report proved that I never walked up, Mr. Davis shot him, and told him he fell to the ground, then loaded 3 more rounds into. As the autopsy report proved that I was on the ground. As the trajectory of the 338 inch diameter hole is up, but proved this theory as well. The stomach shot hit him in the hip and went up to his stomach. So therefore, I was shooting from the ground. I was shooting lower than his hip. At that point in time, I couldn't have walked up on him and unloaded any more rounds because the trajectory was going down. So that proves that Michael Davis was up, standing, and pursuing me when all the shots was going on because the trajectory was going up, and it proved that I was still on the ground, and he was never on the ground. So he was the aggressor in this situation. And the thing about it is that if he would have did his investigation, he would have known he knew this. And also, he went to the grand jury and stated that I shot him 4 times when the autopsy report proves that that was a lie. So he intentionally lied to the grand jury to obtain an indictment. Also, the state's attorney's office on October 12th stated on the record, they gasped that the firearm report is inapplicable. That only 3 bullets in it is applicable to my gun, and the other bullet was not applicable because it was a different size bullet. So even the state's attorney's office knowing they knew that I didn't shoot this man 4 times, but yet when they opened their statement, they stated that I shot Michael Davis 4 times, killing him 4 times. The witnesses testified that I shot him 4 times, and then the closing statement, they said I shot him 4 times, even execution style. Even though the shot that would have been execution style was in the back of the neck, and it's proven to be shot by a different gun, and it's proven to be shot by one of the residents at 1016 West McCool. Therefore, my whole trial was based on lies and utilized falsified evidence by the state's attorney, and they knowingly knew that the witness was perjury. Also, my case was supposed to be kicked out in the door because the mother stated that this was self-defense claim. And thirdly, she was on the crime scene cleaning the crime scene with bleach. But yet, the state attorney don't mention this, the police never mention this to the grand jury. This is how I understand that we are living in a lawless system today. If the chief of police is not applying or allowing his officers to do their job because he's not even looking at their investigation because they're not doing the investigation. They're just lying to get a person convicted. That is wrong. And that is a crime. How could you be a law-abiding citizen or a woman that's supposed to be a law-abiding citizen when only person you give the self-defense to is your own race? It's like in America, a black man don't have a right to self-defense. But all the elements of the crime prove self-defense. This don't make sense. And it really don't make sense when you have your state's attorney go in the courtroom and y'all deliberately and intentionally lie. When on the record, the higher state's attorney proved that was a lie. You still go to trial and still lie on the record. Nobody's being held accountable because the system is designed to lie to keep the black man locked up. It don't make sense. Like when all the physical evidence goes against this, and y'all intentionally lied when the physical evidence will prove it. And I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not a police officer. I'm not an attorney. So if I can see this from the autopsy report, if I can see it from the video where it appears at, you don't think Detective Robert Allen was able to see this? You don't think the police department was able to see this? You don't think the chief of police was able to see this? Because this is a murder case. He looked at that. And then another thing, why was my case on the news for 8.5 months when all these other murders were coming on the TV for a day or two? Then y'all put Mayor Ali on my crime scene. So y'all made my case a political case. It doesn't make sense. When have I done to ever have a political case? I never had no crime or violence in my background at all. I never did one violent crime. But yet, the state attorney taking the trial, y'all withhold his evidence, withhold his background, that this man had 4 domestics with great bodily harm, even 2 of them with great bodily harm to 2 victims in the same month as the homicide happened. But y'all can violate all our rights. This is in prison, go to book at us, and nothing happens to y'all.
So pretty much everything you just said right now is the autopsy report shows that there was another gun at the scene of the crime and somebody else was there shooting, and the trajectory of the other bullets went through his neck, and your bullets was coming from you being on the ground and him attacking you while you're on the ground.
Correct.
So you're shooting up at him.
Correct.
In a self-defense.
The autopsy report proves all this. And I don't understand how you can do it. You said...
And the state's attorney them obviously have the autopsy report. So they see this, they know this, and I was at your trial, and I watched Christina Alford Inc. or Brenda McCavitt, one of them, admit during the trial, okay, well, maybe there was another gun at the scene. No, y'all been knew that. Y'all been knew that. And they withheld that evidence.
Witnesses moved the evidence on the crime scene because they made an affidavit to it. But yet, they hid it during the course of the trial. And I tried to show them the affidavit. Oh, that's not an affidavit. And they hid it from the jurors. And you also, even when you brought me the man's background, the judge and the state held his background to the 3rd day of trial so I could show it to the jurors. So, I'm not going to lie, they cheated me.
Now that was Dave Gass, Brenda McCavitt, Christina Alford Inc., and Judge John P. Vespa, correct?
Correct.
Now, how did Michael Dubé violate your rights?
Well, Michael Dubé came in the courtroom, and he came in, and he knowingly knew that I didn't want him as an attorney. So he went to the courtroom, he told the judge, I don't want him as an attorney who I can't represent him in this sense. I told the judge that I didn't want to continue with, that I was going to represent myself, and I wanted to proceed to trial with the trial date. They kicked me out of the courtroom, and me and Michael Dubé didn't have an attorney-client relationship. He took a 207-day continuance. Therefore, he violated my speedy trial. So I should never went to trial anyway, because my whole judgment is void, because once you violate my speedy trial, there's only one remedy: for me to be released and the case to be dismissed, because I wanted to go to the speedy trial.
So Michael Dubé, attorney Michael Dubé, as a public defender, called himself representing you even though he wasn't your attorney, and filed a motion to pretty much delay your trial.
Correct.
That's what you're stating.
Correct.
By asking for a how many day continuance?
207.
207 day continuance. Wow. And you know, I be still seeing Michael Dubé down there. Every time I see him, I be like, I feel sorry for whoever he representing. I do. It's not about to turn out well. This guy is. But anyway, if somebody else violated your rights, Vespa, when he gave the jury instructions, correct?
Correct. He never instructed them on self-defense. So, as they presented the first-degree murder jury instruction, he goes against self-defense jury instruction. So when he did that, he totally ignored my defense of self-defense, because self-defense jury instruction goes against first-degree murder jury instruction. At the most, I was supposed to have been indicted under second degree if the police would have did the job, or released on self-defense on the crime scene. But police never did the job, and you know, that it all leads down to my trial was unfair, because the police that did the investigation, he fabricated my case. So he lied to the grand jury to even get my case started. So once my case was started from him, they used the same lies he told to convict me. But this is the thing: if I'm representing myself, why would you stack the deck on me?
Oh, that's they tactic down there at the Peoria County Courthouse.
But when I was going to trial, though, bro, I'm representing myself. There was no other trial. There was no other judges in office. They used the whole state's attorney office against me. When no other person going to trial them days. I'm the only person on the county jail bus that whole time I went to trial. When do they ever stop everybody from going to court for one person to go to trial? I never seen that in my life. So I knew the state's attorney was stacking their deck and trying to prove me guilty, even though they knew I was innocent.
So, just to give y'all a little breakdown, that was Rev Blakes. He was charged with first-degree murder, and all of the evidence in his trial and case says that it was self-defense. The mother of the alleged victim stated, "My son made that man shoot him or kill him." I can't remember. It was one of those, shoot him or kill him. And she was a witness, and she was his mother. I witnessed this on the body cam at the trial with my own two eyes. She said, "My son is a grimy mother, MF." You heard Rev already stated that. But I was at his trial. I witnessed this. I witnessed Christina Alford Inc. come up with Rev Blake's mail that she wasn't supposed to have at his trial. I witnessed this. I witnessed her admit that it was another gun and probably somebody else shooting, and the guy was shot with another caliber of bullets. 2. This is in the autopsy report. So Rev has filed a post-conviction for his case. So this evidence should definitely exonerate this man. And if it don't, it just shows you how broken the system is, to quote the chief of police, how broken the system really is, especially when it comes to black men in America. And it's like black men don't have the right to self-defense. And to quote one of my whistleblowers, he said it used to pain him to see that black men was being forced to be harder on black people in the community if they wanted to climb up the ranks. So when you had officers, black officers coming in, violating your rights, that's how they climbed up Captain Bearish ranks, allegedly. Because he's the captain over the jump out boys and the gang unit. Skaggs and them used to be gang unit back in the day. They was the jump out boys. But when you talk about black officers being forced to pick on black people, whether they're breaking the law or not, in order to climb up the ranks, it makes sense how we got a black mayor and they tried to justify this whole stop and frisk thing. Now, let's say I'm cool with stop and frisk to get the killers. They killing our babies, right? Okay. So you pulling over cars and you looking for gang now with the guns. They're shooting people. When you don't find gang now, everybody else should get let go. I don't care if they seatbelt ticket. I don't care if they had a little bit of marijuana. None of that. Everybody else should get let go, because your whole goal for even being able to violate people's rights is because this is like for safety. We're here to catch the people with the guns, not giving. They used to put it on the news like, we caught 3 guns, but we wrote 47 tickets, and we found some marijuana and some of this and but you only found 3 guns. Come on, man. And y'all try to justify that? The black people allegedly in power trying to climb up the ranks, right? Gotta be hard on your people. But they don't go out to Dunlap and do that to them. From what I'm hearing, it's a whole total different language and respect level of how they talk to people out in Dunlap when they pull them over. And they could have 30 keys in the trunk. That's what the whole Clint Eastwood, the mule movie was about. Old white man riding through his best mule. He ain't getting searched. Ain't getting searched. They don't even ask to search their cars and stuff out there. Allegedly, what I'm hearing. No. Probably got 30 keys in the trunk though. Best mule. Who you think they using to smuggle 30 keys? Black gang them? No, he getting pulled over every 5 minutes. Them the small potatoes, the small fry. They'll never go after the big guys, do they? They'll never go after the big fish, do they? Not really. No. Not trying to solve the problem. Just let it keep perpetuating. But that was Rev Blakes, man. Free Rev Blakes. I know the guy personally. His whole character is nothing but about peace. But when you gotta defend yourself, you gotta defend yourself. Self-preservation is important. It's a must. And that man got sickle cell. So I'm gonna tell y'all, Christina Alfred, Brenda McCavitt, that man just had to go to the hospital. He had to get rushed to the hospital. Pray for him every night. Pray for him. Pray that he make it home healthy, safe return. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be good it's just not gonna be good. The karmatic energy in the universe that's gonna come back around, it's not gonna be good. It's not. So You know, we need some things to change around here. Real soon. Real soon. Otherwise, you know, the universe got a strange way of forcing change. Especially when the creator God is in control. Running things. But free Rev Blakes, he said he called back in 10 minutes, so we don't get the rest of this story. We putting it out there, man. I got a lot of this information, but it already put out there. We're going to keep putting it out. We're going to keep it relevant. You know what I mean? Because, it's sad how they do us. It's sad how we do us.
The chance to answer my full position, because I don't think they're going to answer anyway. Because everything based off the autopsy report and physical evidence. When you can't get around it, you can lie, the court can lie, but the autopsy report and the physical evidence can't lie. So, they're violating my due process. But, it's like I'm saying, getting back to the case, right? As in this case, the autopsy report proved that Michael Davis also shot by one of the residents of 16 residents, as in the 1/4 he went down in the hole in the back of his neck. As none of the state witnesses, Ricky Beaumont and Tracy Johnson, speak to this theory, as both of the state witnesses testified that they shot Davis close to the ground, and Davis walked up to Davis and shot him 3 more times while he was on the ground. But their testimony goes just another weight of the evidence. The autopsy report, as it proves that Davis did not walk up to Davis, pulled out of the ground, shot Davis falls to the ground, Davis walked up to Davis, then shoots him 3 more times while he was on the ground. As the trajectory of the 58-inch diameter hose is going upward, proving that the cheese was shooting from the ground. This is using the state witnesses, the 59 says that they walked up to Davis, shot him, and then walked closer, then shot him 3 more times while he was on the ground. Because the state witnesses knew that one of the residents at 16 was shot Michael Davis in the back of his neck while he was on the ground. For this reason, since the autopsy report did not state this bullet actually killed Davis, the state failed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the accused was guilty of first-degree murder. In this case, however, we find the defendant was found guilty of first-degree murder. It's upon that phrase of the indictment, the conviction must stand or fall. In cases of first-degree murder, 17 ILCS 5-9-1A, a person who kills an individual without lawful justification without lawful justification is first-degree murder. If performing the act which causes the death. But now we got to go back to what lawful justification is. Now, according to Maryland's dictionary law, the evidence of trial proves that the accused was accused as in Maryland's working dictionary law. Accused, meaning lawful justification, a circumstance of a physical threat that grants immunity for otherwise charges of criminal conduct, as Michael Davis took a substantial step in carrying out his threat. As the physical evidence proves that Michael Davis was a million yards in the outside appearance, but for the evidence of the trial proves that the accused did have lawful justification to use force, as the evidence of the trial only proves self-defense. So the first form of the first-degree murder, they don't have, because the evidence of the trial proves that I have lawful justification, because he was pursuing after initial threat, he trying to carry out his act. Now, the first form is that he either accused the killer of doing fucking harm, or then since the first form was overturned, then they just be going there. As in this case, the 15-year prosecutor in this trial will ask for the court. I'm going to use the accused as well as claiming conviction. As this violates the accused due process of violence to the U.S. Constitution Amendment 14, of the U.S. Constitution Article 1, Section 2. As the state puts a great shout out victim, Davis 4 times, shooting him 4 times. In the opening section, during the first of God, the witness testified a big shot Davis 4 times. Also in the closing statement, the state said a great shot shoot Davis a total of 4 times. As the video is depicted, and he will hear 4 shots. But this evidence goes against the medical reading of evidence, the autopsy report. But the autopsy report proved that Blakes did not shoot maybe 4 times, and then he was also talking about the reason that 15 was to do it. Therefore, the state still continued that much that Blakes killed Blakes. And the first-degree murder jury instructor actually ignored the petition to prevent self-defense. As the jury has been told that murder is unlawful killing with intent or knowingly, and this instruction informed them that intent or knowingly killing act would therefore it doesn't matter if this was established when the killing was murdered. In self-defense, a man makes intentionally and deliberately and then be careful and killing the killer's opponent without being guilty of murder or manslaughter or any other crime because it actually justified. And there was an instruction that puts the form of the theory will constitute a justification of the killing under the doctrine of self-defense in these words. It must appear from the evidence that at the time of said killing, the defendant was in such apparent danger that a reasonable person under the same circumstances.
Hold on 1 second. All right.
It must appear from the evidence that at the time of said killing, the defendant was in such apparent danger that a reasonable person under the same circumstances would have been induced to believe that it was necessary, apparently necessary to kill him in order to save his own life or to prevent his receiving great bodily harm. The burden of proof and the measure of proof are the same, whether it's the defendant's circumstance or any other. And in each case, the burden is on the prosecutor to prove the guilt of the defendant, and the defendant is not required to prove the guilt. This is suspicion if the evidence has to subsequent leave a reasonable doubt as to the defendant's guilt. It is admonished to instruct the jury that the burden of showing any fact is on the defendant. Actual danger is not necessary to justify such offense. But the question is whether the fact as they appear to the defendant at the time and under the conditions their presence were such as to indicate to him as a reasonable person and intent to take his life or to do great bodily harm. This was the doctrine enough to trample with people. Men who express the danger are obliged to judge from appearances and determine by the actual state of things from the circumstances surrounding them, and least as much as the case in other and less excited position. And it would be monstrous to say that if they act a real and honest conviction and prove by reasonable evidence, they should be held responsible clearly for mistakes in the extent of the actual danger or other reasons why judicious men would have been a likelihood of mistake. This case has been uniformly approved and followed in many cases. The instruction is in error. Also states that it must appear that the danger is defended was such that a reasonable person under the same circumstances would have been induced to believe in section. The jury are not to determine what a reasonable man would have been induced to believe, but what did the defendant at the time that under the circumstances actually was a reasonable man believe. What any reasonable man may do under different circumstances is not always possible to determine. Man's reason does not always operate to produce the same result under the same circumstances. The question engages with this character is concerned to a particular man, and the circumstances must be viewed from the standpoint of the defendant alone, particularly under circumstances of grave excitement, in order to avail himself the right of self-defense. It is not necessary that the defendant should have acted a man of ordinary judgment or ordinary courage, or as an ordinary courageous man. It is sufficient if the circumstances are sufficient to excite the fear of a reasonable person and the defendant really acted under the influence of their own fear. The language of the deceased may have been of the most offensive or provoking character, or it may, as the eyewitness was the mechanic's mother stated, her son made him their shooter, who really did. As a threat against the accused, also the action of the deceased at the time of the homicide, which is view of the offenses of an eyewitness, also in view of the offenses of the accused, may have will aroused from the mind of the accused the most serious apprehensive danger. But if the taking of the life of the accused was induced by either of these causes, the killing will not be murder. As in this case, the jury was instructed that if the defendant guilty alone said that causes death of David, the defendant is guilty of such being murder. As the sentence stated, you can pick the king and only say that, whichever doesn't matter. But this instruction considers the words alone. It entirely ignores the fear of such offense. It seems that an intentional killing must be murder or manslaughter. Contrary to the principle that a man may occasionally deliberately kill his opponent in self-defense and not be guilty of either murder or manslaughter. No attempt is made to apply the abstract proposition of law to the facts in the case. And the instruction is capable of being understood by the jury as assuming that the defendant did not act in self-defense. The rule has long prevailed that it is the duty of these courts in criminal cases to review the evidence, and if it is found that there is sufficient credible evidence, it is improper or unsatisfactory or not sufficient to remove all reasonable doubt of the defendant's guilt and create an abiding conviction that he is guilty. The conviction will be reversed.
Why your phone sound a little muzzled?
Yes, and that's existed at the moment. In this regard, the right of self-defense arises before the first blood is drawn. Merely because the police did not find a weapon at the scene when they arrived does not establish beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant's fear of great bodily harm and his response was unreasonable. It really raises an issue as to whether they actually had a weapon, but it is not necessary for the deceased to actually have possessed or used a deadly weapon to justify killing in self-defense. If a person is confronted with such needs of force as to induce a reasonable belief that he is in danger of loss of life or suffering great bodily harm, that's all the law required to justify killing in self-defense. Here, the evidence is virtually uncontroverted that David had previously stolen money, but the defendant merely asked about the money, and that the victim's threat addressed to conduct was real at the time of the occurrence. And as in the eyes of one of the observers, the defendant's mother, Vicky Wilmore, said that her son made that man shoot, and he really did. Thus, under the circumstances, it cannot be said that the defendant believed that he was in danger of death or great bodily harm was unreasonable beyond a reasonable doubt. One thing for certain, two things for sure, is that once the mother stated that my life was in danger, y'all been out to all that was in danger, what? That is a big piece of the puzzle. But do eyewitnesses state that her son made me kill him? How would y'all say it was self-defense? That don't make sense.
Now state that last part you just said again.
As the mother of the deceased states to the police officer, her son made that man kill him. She stated to him that this happened out of self-defense.
Right.
There's no way that you would not tell the grand jury this.
Right.
You hear this from the grand jury.
Right.
And she already knew her son was dead at this time. She didn't only say her son made that man kill him. She said she did not talk with her son.
Yeah, and she called him a grimy mother. You know the rest.
Yeah, you're right. So she was stating that her son really was.
Yeah.
Told the truth.
Yeah, and all that's on body cam.
Always on Detective Robert Allen body cam.
You said his name, Detective Robert Allen.
Yeah, the state.
And so what is? And so is you asking for an impeachment of Robert Allen as well?
Yeah, they barred me from playing his body cam, so I couldn't impeach him because he got on the stand and lied.
And they barred you. Who barred you? Vespa.
Vespa didn't allow me to play it, and the state attorney objected to it, so they wanted me to play another officer's body cam when I was trying to impeach Officer Robert Allen at that time.
What was their reason? What was their reason for objecting?
Well, they said, oh, this is not based on evidence. But the state attorney seen all the evidence. They knew the body cam would show. They knew that he lied when he stated that they never asked the mother. They never asked the mother to go to the police station when the chief of police already told them that the mother refused to go to the police station. But this is a murder investigation. But neither of the witnesses went to the police station. That don't make sense. Then the mother's on the crime scene cleaning the crime scene with bleach. This case was never supposed to go to trial. That's happened with the evidence. That's a violation of due process. So I don't see how any cases is going to trial when you got police that sitting there lying and not doing the checks and balances to follow the Constitution. All these people are bound by the Constitution. So they oath the office, and all these people should be held accountable because they're not holding the oath to office. It's like I understand, like, there's no perfect system. But when somebody is living and intentionally lies, to get you indicted, then the state's attorney knowing you because they ask only that I get you 4 times on transcripts, and y'all still taking trial and take that same thing. Don't do whatever y'all want to do and lie to the court just to get you convicted.
Now remember about Christina Alfred Inc. coming up with your mail?
Yes, they was intercepting all my motions. So it's on my record.
And your subpoenas, right?
Right. And certain officers, he didn't subpoena. Because the officer I was trying to subpoena was the officer who had the mother on the body cam, on her body cam, cleaning the crime scene with bleach.
Cleaning the crime scene with bleach.
Correct.
Wow.
His own body cam.
Wow.
And also, they knew the other girls who shot out there, but then they didn't even search for them. That's why he intentionally lied and stated that I shot him 4 times, because he's going to do an investigation. So this is the sloppy work that's coming from under the chief of police. Because I can't be a detective in your police station saying I'm not doing an investigation. Because chief of police job is to check on the investigation. That's not a murder investigation.
Yeah, well, I can tell you things ain't been going nowhere near according to policy and procedure down there at the Peoria Police Department.
But you know what's crazy? It was 3 murders that year, all caused by white men. All 3 of the white men got suspect on the crime scene. But yet, me and the other guy, Mr. Sanders, who was on video, he got shot up, and he shot back and his Sanders life, and his own body cam, his own video, and he had to fight to do self-defense. So they showing that a black man don't have a right to self-defense in America. It's only tied to them.
Yeah, one of the what I heard allegedly what goes on down at the Peoria Police Department is officers are told to arrest black people. Don't care about violating their rights. Let the state's attorney sort all that out. And the sad part about that is you know how much tax dollars that's costing us?
But you know they don't care about that because the business is a big business.
Well, I'm gonna say that's the part they do care about. People care. People might not care about your life, but they care about their money.
You're correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Yeah.
Say about the hands up, man. I can call back in 10 minutes, dude.
I think we got enough, man. Unless it's something else you want to add on.
Oh, it's all right. But the thing about it, though, is once the mother said it there, they should have let me go on self-defense for the good.
Without a doubt. So we'll get another interview with Rev Blakes at a later date. But hopefully the system isn't as broken as the world think it is, and this man could get justice and get out of that place. But not only that, we need y'all to really start looking into these cases and stop be willing to lie, falsify evidence, try to make people look more of a criminal or animal, or just so you can get a conviction. I'm telling you, the whole system will collapse in on itself real soon, and it's gonna be y'all fault. And maybe that's your intention. Maybe this is why y'all doing this, because y'all working for foreign powers to collapse the United States government and the Constitution. Maybe that's your agenda. I don't know. Or do I know? Swole man. Stay in tune. We got the power. The people.